All right, so thank you all so much for agreeing to this discussion. I really appreciate the time. I am conducting some research for a show that I'm producing about politics and voting and issues that really matter to people. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I would love it if you all talked a lot. I would encourage everyone to be as open and honest as possible. There are no right or wrong answers. This is not going to be, it's also not going to be some kind of contentious debate, because it's politics. But everyone could just offer your opinions. It's going to be a nice, genial conversation.
Exactly.
I only ask because there is audio that if we can try as much as possible for one person to speak at a time, because when there's crosstalk, then we won't be able to hear it later. And I think that's it. First question, then anyone can speak up, and we could just go from there. Sometimes I'll do around the room, but feel free to chime in. To what extent does politics and government affect you and the things that you care about?
To a great extent.
To a great extent?
Yeah.
And how so?
Because everything that they come up with trickles down to us. We have to be aware of what they're doing and what they're passing, any laws or whatever. Because eventually it's going to come down to us and affect us and our kids.
Tammy, what you were going to?
I was going to piggyback on what he said as well, because working in the government industry, a lot of the politics, it has a lot to do with the raises, the benefits that we receive, the education part of it, and again, our family, our legacy is going to be affected.
Okay. What issues are most important to people in politics?
Mine is education.
Education?
Education, yeah.
Sorry.
A couple people education.
Healthcare.
The laws, the way that they are written and they're played out, because we have a lot of people that are being killed, or that's, as far as the government concerned, those things, to me, education is very important because I work in the education field. But I think when we start with the laws that they make, that kind of trickle down and that set the presidency for a lot of other things.
I think the laws that they neglect to police, for instance, the ones about how much you can build, where you can build, how high you can build, all of that directly affects where I live right now.
Did you say build?
Build.
Oh, okay.
As far as real estate and buying and selling and gentrification of certain areas, and the laws that they're trying to sweep in there to change an area that don't necessarily help the people that already live there. So they have a blind eye to some things, but then when it's beneficial to builders, developers, and all of that, they don't see that. So just be, the laws are there for everybody, so use them for everybody, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Anyone else important issues that you hear about in politics and government that seems like that matters to you and your family?
Well, kind of. Donald Trump, he kind of like suspended all the cruises to go to Cuba. So that kind of, not to Cuban people, but to Americans that want to travel to Cuba on tourists. And also, I think he was trying to legalize like no American can go to Cuba anymore, something like that. That's for someone who was born here and he has his grandparents or family in Cuba. He can't go and visit him anymore because he's American because he was born here.
Yeah.
Were people surprised that Donald Trump made that decision on Cuba? Did anyone expect that?
No.
Of course not.
Nope.
No surprise.
No surprise.
Build a wall.
The surprise went out the window a long time
when Barack
ago.
Obama
Yeah.
made the rule, the wet feet, dry feet, when he almost was out of the office and he implied a rule. All Cubans were like, wait, weren't you like helping us and then now you like backstabbing
Like
us?
that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
How would you describe the state of the economy today?
It's going well. It's better than before. I mean, Barack Obama helped out a lot. Donald Trump has helped a little bit and done stuff. I feel like this is my opinion. He's a good president, but he's not good in communication. He doesn't know what to say or how to say it, and that a lot of people doesn't see that.
I just like his honesty. I just think you get what you get with him. He's been very blunt from start to finish. He is who he is. Like, he's never shied away from who he is. So that's the only reason why I can respect him as a president, as in some people like throw a rock at a glass hat and hide their hand. He does not hide his hand.
You know why? Because he was never on politics. He was not Democrat or Republican. He
was
just
Trump.
run.
Yeah, he's just Trump.
He's a businessman.
Yeah.
He knows how to do business. He challenged the trade with the China, and they had to. He squeezed them and until they came out with a better deal, I think. And then also with Hong Kong, like with the missiles, he got that. Like we didn't have to go to war with them or stuff like that. You know, there's always good thing that people don't see, and then also news they're making him things bad because all the stuff right now with the immigrants and the childs in the cage and stuff like that, all the stuff that were happening with Barack Obama, it just never came out of the news.
We will definitely get to Donald Trump, but on the economy, anyone else on the state of the economy, and you can talk specifically too about the state of the economy where you live in Florida.
I mean, the thing that I think is good is that they're going to increase the federal minimum wage coming in
For teacher
January. So I
hours.
think that's good for people who are
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
That's a
like
plus.
$10
They
an
have-
hour or whatever.
They have
It's going to
more
be
fun-
15.
Funding for like small businesses and housing. That's a much better state than it was before. Lots of grant funding.
I don't agree.
I don't, yeah, I was
Any
going
of
to say, I
this.
don't agree. The only reason I would say that, because with the housing now, that the development, like she's stating, they go up so much in price, well, it force you to stay in apartments because you can't get clearance for homes, but then the apartments have so many restrictions.
And condos.
And it's like they're making everything condos, so, and they have restrictions where you have to be qualified. So then before we can get a house long time, but now there's like, you know,
Well, you
it
have
makes
to-
it more
actually has
difficult.
something to do with with I would say the area. I recently purchased my home, and the city actually just gave me money just to live in the city. So,
And what city are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
Hollandale.
Hollandale? Okay.
So and Miami Gardens. A lot of the cities are giving money for you to reside
Well,
in.
Miami Gardens is doing that because they have a high murder rate. Like they have a lot of killings, so they're going to get money because a lot of people are moving out and they want to move in.
Kimberly,
But
what
where I
about the
live,
economy?
no. Next door to me, an empty lot costs $229,000. So I don't know who's walking around with that just to buy a lot and then be able to buy a house on it. And as far as the economy, it's my personal opinion. I think there's a lot of fake wealth here.
Yes.
Because there is no way in the world all these people work from home because I need the same job they have. Because they're affording $5,000 a month for rent for a condo, or in my area, again, I can only talk about my area because that's the one I know about. Houses there rent for about $2,000, and I don't live in a place that house should be like $2,000 to rent it. So there's not a lot of affordable housing for people who make less than the minimum wage. So I don't even understand how they survive.
You make less than
Christine.
minimum wage, right?
What happened?
Is there a way to make less than minimum wage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
waitresses.
Yeah. they go
7-Eleven stores pay $7.85 an hour.
Go ahead, Christy.
The country is more in debt now than ever, which just scares the heck out of me. I mean, and supposedly the economy's good, but the stock market is, you can't depend on it. Never really could you, but people who trade forget it. And like 13, 14 years ago when this hurricane hit, my condo was worth $145 when the roof fell in. Now it's worth $107. So it's okay, but it's not back to what it was because my condo needs to go,
Yeah.
up in order for me to get out of Florida.
Xavier, what do you think?
Yeah, and I was gonna say about Social Security is dwindling. I don't think any of us, by the time 20 years from now, whatever, we're not gonna have anything.
And it's going to go up in price.
It is, no,
gonna
even with inflation, even if they raise the minimum wage, we're still gonna be reaching for that cliff.
Yeah.
Unless something
The cost of
drastic
living
changes.
in Florida is just really, really high.
It's
Cost of
high.
living,
It's,
The
it's
cost of living.
ridiculous high. And
But-
we have too much tourism for it to
And
still
health
be that high because they're getting a lot of kickbacks with that.
But
Health
going back
insurance.
to the economy, like you said, I think it's most Miami because Miami is going up the roof. But if you go outside Miami, outside a little bit up Florida, Coral Gate, I think, they're building beautiful houses. They don't have a lot of people, and they're building duplex for like 200,000 or less.
So what kind of jobs do they have there?
That's the other thing.
And you
There's
have to
no
have
jobs.
3
But-
times the
cheap
price
houses
of the
you
house or
want.
something like
Yeah,
that.
but they're
Work.
building.
You still got to drive 2 hours to go to work and 2 hours to go back to this cheap house.
I mean, you probably can find a job there, but I'm saying it's a new they're building stuff because,
Right,
and
cheaper
also
to
you
live
go
there.
to Orlando and compare Orlando to
Yeah.
Miami.
But the cost-
getting up there now, though.
Yeah, because a
Yeah.
lot of people are
Orlando's
leaving
getting-
Florida and they're going to Port St.
But it's
Lucie, they're
still
going to
Miami.
Orlando
Port St. Lucie,
and
yeah.
Kissimmee. The houses are cheaper, but the cost of living is not the same as a lot of the jobs that pay here.
Yeah.
So, next question, moving on to politics. How would you say that politics makes you feel right now?
Disgusted
It's comedy for
Disgusted.
me.
from both sides.
It's pure
Sometimes
comedy.
I doesn't
Disappointing
even
in
want to
a
watch
sense.
it.
All right, let's go one at a time. We can go around because I know a lot of people have opinions on this one. Tammy,
Sometimes
you wanna-
disappointing.
Sometimes disappointing.
It's gut wrenching just the not knowing what's going on. There's always something going on.
Changing.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's always changing. So it's kind of like, oh, what today? You know, what's gonna happen? You know.
No, to me, it's the way I've been here since 1968 and went through different crises here in the U.S. And I've never seen politicians act the way they act now on both sides,
And how are they acting?
like kids. They're rude. They're not. I mean, you have you have a job where you're a president of something. You got to have some kind of manners and decency.
Ethics,
Professional.
And same thing
moral.
with politicians. They're not to the president, but just everybody. They before you didn't hear all these name calling and disrespecting of each other, like it's happening now. I don't know if social media is part of that.
It
Because
is.
before, a
It's
long
Twitter.
time ago, when that didn't exist,
We didn't
you read the
know.
papers, and that's where you got your information from and stuff like that. And then you saw where you had other newscasters, Walter Cronkite, these guys who didn't pick a side, but they reported how it was. And they weren't just because we disagree, doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful to each other. It's good to disagree, but you have to have the respect. And there should be our leaders, and I don't see that from them at all. Because any news station you go to, MSN, Fox, whatever, everything that's happened seems like it's a joke to them. The way they present it, it's like a joke. You know, it's a comedy thing. Instead of being
professionalism, no
serious,
ethics.
really taking it serious, there's something serious. Security and everything of the U.S. is based on this. But the way they report it, it's more like a joke, so people don't believe anything now. It's harder to believe.
Anyone else on the politics?
Yeah, no, I
Go ahead.
think, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Paul, and then we'll go to Canadian.
Yeah, no, it's this development of fake news and no one trusts each other. It's snippet talks, you know, the politicians are just trying to get on Twitter for a
Yeah,
blurb.
it is.
There's no real talk about the issues. It's all about
Ratings.
ratings and kids. I mean, if you see how Fox News started, it was debate talk. And that's all it is now. You have one side against the other. They talk for 2 minutes, nothing gets solved, and you move on to the next topic. There's no compromise anymore. There's no smart talk. There's no one there being a leader. It's sad to say, you know.
But even
And-
the-
Right.
go ahead.
And if anything, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I see Trump as a person who hasn't lied who he is. He's a liar. That's who he is. And he always said that, and that's what he is. And our public, we
Voted
deserve
for
that
him.
now,
They
the way
voted for him.
it's happened
Yeah,
like
the way
this. Like, we got to get out of this. We need leaders to
voted for
step
him.
up and to be clear with what we want. You know?
But he's slowly destroying relationships that have taken years and
Years
years
to
to
build.
build
I agree.
across the world.
I agree.
And when you destroy all of those and you don't have any respect, I could see bombs flying in here and tearing this up soon. I mean, because nobody respects the United States anymore like they used to.
Well, did
and
you-
nobody's even scared of the United States anymore because it's basically a joke
Yeah.
based on his relationships and the ones that he's destroyed
Yeah.
with all the leaders.
Yeah, well, he's a let's make a deal, you're fired guy. And I loved Obama just because I was proud to say, wow, he's showing the world that he's a nice man, that's a family man. I didn't agree with all his politics, but still, he presented himself like a man.
And that makes a difference.
Like
That's
a man
the
and
leader
a
of the-
a
yes.
father, and supporter of his children. Trump, I don't think he shows that, you know?
None of that.
And I think that's dwindling down, the conversation.
But it's funny how all his family are in the White House and in all of these very important roles that were never held by family members of any other presidents, and nobody says anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything is just, we're not going to say anything, we're not going to say anything, and somebody has to say something.
Yeah.
Thinking about the last election you voted in, what are the reasons you chose to vote?
I
Why?
wanted to make a difference.
You wanted to make a difference.
Yes,
And you
yes.
and you thought, in what way did you think?
Well, my thought process is I'm going to still vote, whether the votes are stolen or lost or whatever the case may be. I'm going to make you work to get what you want. I'm not just not going to vote and let it be just, oh, I'm not going to vote because it's not going to make a difference. No, I'm going to vote, and if you want to steal the votes or do whatever, you're going to have to do it. So I wanted to make a difference.
Okay. Anyone else?
I was trying to avoid Trump getting in and thought my vote counted. But
That was in 16 then?
Look how we were. Oh,
I skipped that one. I didn't
I
like,
did
neither,
vote in
I didn't like
that
neither
one.
candidate.
I just couldn't.
I skipped that
Well, actually, yeah.
We
You know what?
voted
I
for it
want
in
to
2016.
hold on that because I want to ask why the people who didn't last time you didn't vote in an election, why? But let's start with last time you did vote in an election. Why did you vote? Anyone else?
I voted for Obama last time I voted.
I voted for
Wow.
Trump because I didn't want any politics. I don't want Hillary Clinton come out with, I'm not against women. It would be wonderful to have a woman leader. You never know how it's gonna happen. Look at Queen Elizabeth in London. She's a leader and she's a woman. And we have to be proud of that. There's queens in history and there's president women.
So why did you vote
So
for
then,
Trump?
yeah, so why didn't you vote?
I didn't want someone to be in the government. He's not a government person. He's a businessman.
The swamp, the cleaning up.
You
the
wanted
swamp.
you wanted a businessman. And
Yeah, I
Okay.
wanted someone like.
So now, can I ask him a question? But now
Yeah,
with the
'cause-
results that he's not letting you go to Cuba to see your family. do
No,
you-
he likes me, but he doesn't like Americans who were born here.
Oh, Cubans can go, but what if you can't
Cuba.
come back? Because that seems like something Trump.
No,
would
no,
do.
you
Have you
I got a lot
changed
to
your
say about
mind
this, so I'll be
about
quiet.
the way
I
you
have a lot
vote?
of
Have you
questions.
changed your mind
Yeah,
about the way
'cause-
you voted?
Yeah.
Yes,
like-
I have, and
You have.
I have,
Okay.
but at that time, like you said, a lot of when you're running for president, you lie, you give promises that sometimes you don't present it, and
do you think that Trump has kept his promises?
not all of them. He has changed a lot of stuff, but
Which ones do you think he's kept?
it's hard to say.
There's so much that he
I
has.
think he's been so
He has a little more control about the people coming into the United States. I would say that's one thing that is good. Like, I'm not against immigrants coming in, but coming the right way with paper, not with no papers. And that's something that also is killing America. Like, you have all these criminals from Mexico, or they go to Mexico and they come to the United States, and we get them in here. So
Or take our jobs so we don't have
Mexican
any.
criminals?
it doesn't matter. Jobs, there's always gonna be jobs available. Anywhere that point.
No, but you
when-
have to be
That's-
bilingual a lot. So a lot of them
Yeah,
are
no,
taking
that's not.
jobs that can go
Yes,
to
but
pure Americans.
whenever you go, there's always gonna be a job.
No.
They-
That's not
No,
true.
no,
sweetie.
no.
You have so many
I
jobs
haven't
now,
had
but
a
you have
trouble
to
finding
Okay.
a
There's
job.
You're
always gonna be a
bilingual.
job
You
everywhere.
shouldn't.
Yeah, oh
You
my
go
God.
anywhere, whatever language,
Well,
you'll
for
find
how
something.
they
If you're
everybody's
hungry,
But
speaking
you're
that's
gonna
not a
find
problem for people that are not bilingual. Because
It's very
look
much
at
a problem.
Canada. Canada, they learn French, English, and
But
But
we're
I'm
here
with
in-
Trump. Why do we have to learn a new language when our prime language was English when we got here? So like, why should we learn something new? You guys
But-
should learn English.
Like I have to be
we
bilingual.
learn English.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
Continue my
bilingual.
job.
But you
Yeah.
guys should also try to learn another language. Other people try to learn a language. It's good for you. It's
No, it's
good.
very
Okay,
good for you. But
so
why
we're
should we
gonna look a little off track with the languages, but I do want to get back to, for those of you thinking about the last election you didn't vote in, what were the reasons you chose not to vote? And George, since you were starting to say you
Me,
didn't vote,
Hillary, I didn't trust.
Hillary didn't trust,
I don't
and
trust.
you didn't like Trump, and you like Hillary. so you
Trump,
did
I
not
didn't
vote.
like because of his past and what I've read about him in the past. The way he's dealt his business to small business people that he's worked with, where he has gotten their stuff, got him to build whatever, and then take them to court.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose because they have all the money. So a small business person is not gonna be able to compete in court. So they're gonna say, okay, forget it, take it. So and that's what he's done a lot of his business on bad deals, and he's been able to, sorry the word, but screw him over because of money. You know, somebody can only go to court so many times before they run out of money, where they have unlimited. And I mean, that's that, and some other stuff about him in the past as a person. Now, as a politician, he came out even worse. But as a person, I didn't like him. I don't think it was respectful. I don't think he should represent this country as a person.
And why didn't you like Hillary Clinton?
Just too many scandals with her, and I just didn't get a good feeling from her.
Okay.
I think she was too overconfident, and it seemed to me like she was way too cocky and overconfident with everything happening.
Okay. Anyone else for reasons not voting?
I felt like Hillary felt like she should have won because she would be the first woman president. That was a good enough reason for me. And Trump I think he's a reality show person. He has no business being the president of anything. So,
Wendy, you were going to say something?
I didn't want to vote because my father worked for the State Department and he was voting for Trump. I don't like Trump, but I thought Hillary was going to win. But he mentioned that there were certain scandals regarding like the emails and he knew firsthand information about it and he felt that she put a lot of people's lives in jeopardy.
Okay.
So I just did it out of respect for him, not
Okay.
vote.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I don't trust Hillary. I mean, Trump, it's like pick your, the worst.
Your vice.
Yeah, I mean, Trump, look,
Bad
he's not
and bad.
backed up
Yeah.
by anybody. He
Bad or worse,
funded.
worse to bad.
Trump funded himself. He was able, so nobody had no bankers, nothing. The Democrats, Republicans, always got somebody behind talking. Hillary Clinton, she goes to those Bilderberg meetings. Look that up. I mean, those are so I can definitely see where.
Can I ask, how many people voted in the 2018 midterms?
for the government?
Yeah,
Governor?
For Florida.
election for Congress and for, okay,
Yeah.
you guys all voted there. And how many people, show of hands, are planning on voting in 2020? Everyone's voting. All right, how many people are definitely not voting for Trump? So no one's definitely, okay. How many people are definitely voting for whoever the Democratic nominee is?
Well, it's 18 on the board now.
Okay,
I
that's
think.
what I'm just saying.
It's 18.
So wait, can I show of hands, who is definitely voting for the Democratic nominee? 1, 2, 3. 3 people. Okay.
So far.
So this is fascinating. So for those of you who thinking about voting third party, why are you thinking about voting third party?
I'm registered as independent.
Okay.
And I vote because I like some of the Republican views on everything. Some of the stuff, the moderate people, not those way off guys. And the Democrats, I'm not too crazy on also some of the programs they want to give a lot of free things and free people help to everybody. So I vote more for who I think at that moment is going to be good for the country. And there's something I read today that it says it's always good to do research not on social media of the candidate you want to, but who backs them up. And that's something I've never looked into before. I've never done that,
Yeah.
or even thought about it. But who backs them up makes a big difference because there you can tell where their money's coming from and which way they're going to push.
Okay. Yep. Anyone else who's thinking about voting third party? Why?
Yeah, I'm registered independent as well. I like to wait it out, see what's going on. I think it's ridiculous that we have 18 candidates in the Democratic Party.
It's going to dwindle down.
When they
Yeah,
pick one.
yeah, I want to see when it dwindles down what happens, but again,
Yeah.
we'll see what comes of that. But I agree with what you're saying. I do have Republican sensibilities, but I also have strong Democratic sensibilities. But I'm looking for a leader.
Somebody could go both ways.
Yeah,
Find that
well, someone like that.
middle part.
That's just, I don't know. A
It's
leader.
hard.
So
It's hard. It's very hard now.
how would it weigh on your choice at all? Because some people say, well, if you vote for a third party candidate, that person might not have any chance to win, and Trump might end up winning if there's a third party candidate. Does that factor into your decision making at all, or is it more, I'm going to vote who I want to vote for, or do you sort of think about what it means in the larger?
Well, look, I don't want to go through what we've been through the last 4 years again.
Right.
So if I have to choose to vote for a Democrat, even though I'm not like enthralled with them, I'll vote for them if it gets this
Out of the
over
way.
with. Because I think it's been just comical, sadly, for the past 3-4 years. What we're sitting here and talking about, and when I talk about my friends and my dad and my mom, and it's silly. It's silly. When I saw that letter to Turkey, the Turkey president, and the way he wrote it, it knocked me over. This is our president. This is what my nieces and nephews are looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is how you write a letter. It shocked me. It shocked me.
Well, let me ask that too. What are the primary reasons in your mind to vote against Donald Trump? And then, to broaden that out a little bit, people you've talked to, friends, family, neighbors, what are the most common reasons you hear for voting against Trump?
Common reasons I hear for voting against Trump is the fact that he's just not look, I think he's a great businessman, even though I don't agree with how he does business. In the greedy climate of America, capitalist society that we live in, he does very well because he knows how to use the law to his advantage. But when he has a microphone as loud as presidency, a lot of my friends and a lot of my people I hang out with, think it's disgusting how he's using it. And I think that's the number one thing that everyone comes back to. It's like, oh, he's doing Twitter again from his toilet. You know?
Christine?
To me, he acts more like a dictator than anything else, and he's impulsive and crazy.
Disrespectful.
Scares me.
Yeah, disrespect.
Nelson, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's just like you never know what you're gonna get. Like every day is something different. Like he's on Twitter, like calling people out. Like
I
Grant,
love
like
him
you
on
can't. You're
Twitter.
the president of the United States. Like
Run the country.
you're running the
He's
country.
a
now.
security risk.
It's great.
Yeah.
This country's a big security
Yeah, he's
risk.
gonna get America blown up.
So, so you all
Yes.
mentioned character issues with Trump. Are there issues and issue stances he has that bother you enough to vote against him, or other people you talk to?
But it's not just him, because you still have to vote for the local people that think the way that you do, and that have some type of input in Congress and the Senate and all of that stuff. It's just not him by himself. He has an entire backing of Congress and of all of these people that make these decisions. It's not him alone. And they're not doing anything
And that's-
to
Now, are they
call
trying
him
to
on
impeach
that.
him
They're
now?
trying to impeach him.
The
next.
Democrats.
Now,
It's
oh, the
ridiculous.
Democrats,
They're not gonna be able to.
before,
Whoever
like,
disagrees
I
gets
believe
fired.
that
Yeah.
when the Congress
They should
and
let him
everybody
finish
was
his term.
backing him, I don't know the misconception of what they thought they was gonna get, because
That's
as a
true,
businessman, I seen him on all the shows and his hotels and this, and you see the way he speaks. He's always been, well, okay, I won't say always, he's been very disrespectful to people on TV, on the TV shows. So if having him as a president, the same man that talk about groping his daughter, he would rape her, like, I just
It just
couldn't.
never made sense.
But again, you
But
have
that's
all
what
of
I'm
these
saying,
other
these
people,
that
all of
behind
these
it, but
other
they're-
elections.
I
that
believe they're scared to make a move.
They want to keep their positions.
Yeah, they're
You're
scared.
talking about the Republicans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because as soon as one of them
yeah.
speaks up against them, right away he's attacked.
Something, exactly.
The thing is, I don't understand is how a Republican Party is supposed to be of morals and values of the party that does that, it shows that. How they got Trump to represent them, it doesn't make any sense at all. He's totally opposite of what the Republican Party is supposed to be standing for.
Yeah.
You know, which is a
I've
good
never-
thing. That's because I don't want to be all Democrat. I like some of the values of the Republican, keep things in check and things like that. But how they ended up with Trump, and then how they support him, the way he talks and says things and does, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
How much have you all heard about the impeachment inquiry into Donald Trump?
Just what he wrote on
so
Twitter.
Well, I read something on CNN maybe earlier this week. They were speaking about it, and they would mention more about setting up the room to hold the impeachment or the meeting, not exactly what they were impeaching him for directly.
Does anyone else know what they're impeaching him for, or what they're looking into? And do you think they should be holding an inquiry to see if they should impeach him?
Well, I believe it's about the Ukraine
Yeah.
and kind of how it worked out. I don't know the specific details, but I do believe we're hoping that the 60 Republicans start to pull over to the side of impeaching him. And last week, but the news changes so fast.
Yeah, and you
It
don't
seemed
know.
like Republicans were coming over, but now I guess the climate is changing in the Ukraine, and it's slowly they're keeping their mouths shut again. So I don't know. Again, I'll read a snippet again later.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I thought he was talking about his taxes, presenting his taxes and some stuff like that.
No, it's this. How come they got down on Hillary for using her personal email for certain things. But yet then he has Giuliani, who probably not vetted by the government or it's done background, running to do government, represent the government in other places. And how is that allowed?
Yeah.
Because he is speaking for the president. Now, that's his personal lawyer. He should have no access into the White House or to go over to another country to make deals for this country when he has no position in the government. He's not even a government employee. How is that being allowed?
So let me ask, since Trump took office, do you think Washington has become more corrupt, less corrupt, or no difference?
More corrupt.
More corrupt.
More
crazy.
corrupt?
It's more obvious that it's
More obvious
Yeah.
corrupt?
Yeah, well,
I think it's as corrupt. I think social media works with that too. I think this information age that we live in, we're just every minute it changes. So, but you could corrupt that now too as easy as fake news.
What's your opinion of the tax cut that Donald Trump and the Republicans passed?
Oh no, that was a big kick in the privates for everybody, because how are you going to go and give such a big break to billionaires, and then I mean people were writing saying, oh my check increased, but most of the people I read was their checks increased by dollars a month. Doesn't cover anything.
Yeah.
So the big people came out of this where the rich, they backed them up. They got the big break.
But that's what the Republican Party is for, though. Tax break for billionaires.
Yeah, but I guess it's true, but not this.
Keep the
This was just
richer
out
and
there. It was
make the poor
blatant. I
stay
mean,
poor.
Did anyone
More
think
for like business owners, I think the Republicans stand for that.
anyone think the tax cut was good, or did anyone notice the tax cut in their own lives?
I haven't noticed any.
I lost
Well,
money.
hopefully
I
they'll
got less
have
money in my taxes last year because now you can't take certain things by owning a house. They're taking certain things
write
out
it
of there.
off.
Yeah, you can't write it no, and that hurts a lot of people.
Yeah.
I will say I got more money.
Oh, good for
Last
you.
tax, yeah,
Oh,
I got
good for you.
I've never gotten that much before, and it kind of was scary. But I usually agree with Republicans and tax laws because it works out well for me. Democrats, I never get that much money, or I usually owe. So I do agree with that part of the Republicans, and I don't have a problem with that part.
Okay.
Whether it was corrupt or not, let it work in my favor.
How much have you heard about Donald Trump's plan for health care, Medicare, Social Security?
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything.
No one has heard anything.
It's always promised. They always say we're going to do this, but it's never done. And that's
The only
something.
one who took attack on that, it was Barack Obama, and he did something to it. But
What's that about?
the Obamacare,
Oh, okay.
he was the only one who put that in the field, and it got approved. But after that, nothing. They have talked, they have promised things, but nothing.
So, turning to the Democrats, what is your opinion of the Democratic Party? How would you talk about the Democratic Party, Nelson?
I mean, right now it's just, I guess we're just like, right now just going through the impeachment stuff. I guess it's just like, just waiting to see what's going on. I mean, hopefully now with all the candidates that we have, it's gonna get, because we can get somebody to get in there and get better. I don't know.
What kind of candidate are you hoping for?
I don't know. I mean, I've been watching the debates, so I'm just trying to, like, the thing is, I just want to see, like, who gets towards the end and then start going, like, looking into it and going from there.
Wendy, what do you think about the Democratic Party? What's your opinion?
I mean, I'm from New York, so, and every job that I've been in, like, we encourage that. So,
Okay.
I'm just, I guess, Democratic blood. I don't know.
I'm biased. I think Democrats are babysitters sometimes. I think they give too much. Sometimes it makes people lazy. And so I can't always agree with Democrats.
I feel like Democrats are kind of like a cover-up for socialism.
Yeah, for communism. I think the same thing. They want to
Like
control
you-
things. Yeah.
Like you want to
They wanna
take
give you
from the
stuff to
middle.
control
You
you.
don't even take from the rich. You take from the middle and give it to the poor,
That's what they do.
and they just leave from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not Republican or Democratic. I just see who's the best for the country, and who can do the best. And before Bernie Sanders, a lot of good promise, Medicare, free Medicare for everyone, free student loan for everyone. It sounds too good to be true.
Somebody has to pay for it.
Somebody has to pay for all that.
Taxpayer.
But again, I'm not comparing, but Canada has all that, and it's doing completely fine.
Yeah, but they pay how much taxes in Canada?
But they're fine. I mean,
They pay a lot of
Everything
taxes.
has their.
Right,
everything-
they
has,
really
everything
pay
has,
for
Everything has a
Canada.
price.
but you don't see Canadian coming to the United States.
I do.
Yeah, they got
In my
people.
business, I see a lot of them.
Yeah,
and I
but
see
you
a
don't
lot of
see
them
as
buy a
much of
lot of
other
stuff
people.
here and never take it back to Canada because they don't want to be taxed on it.
Yeah,
So they buy a lot of luxury items here,
But that's
enjoy
rich-
them
rich
here,
people
come
Canadian.
here. Not just rich.
yeah.
Not just rich. There's a lot of people that don't want to pay tax on anything that they buy.
I don't want to pay
Those
tax.
are my clients,
So
the ones that don't want to pay any tax.
You were talking about Bernie Sanders and free health care and college. What do you all think? How much have you heard about Medicare for All, which is a
I
program
work
that
in healthcare, so yeah, that's just not going to happen for anybody.
you think that's not going to happen for anybody. So some of the Democrats are proposing Medicare for All. This is a system where instead of people over 65 being on Medicare, everyone in the country would be on Medicare.
I mean,
and
it's
you'd
not-
guarantee-
I
It's
wouldn't
always
want
the
that.
same thing, a different name. That's the thing. Hey guys, everyone's gonna have health
like
care.
Medicaid.
Give us a couple years, we're gonna do it. Nothing has changed. Tell me something in the past
Right.
10 years that has drastically changed, no
Right.
matter how long you live here.
Would you want something on healthcare to change?
I want, yes, healthcare, of course. I
And
mean,
what
We'll
do
make
you
it
all hope for
more
healthcare?
affordable.
actually?
It's got to be more
Yeah.
affordable.
Affordable.
It has
More
to be
affordable?
affordable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the families, I mean, people they live paycheck to paycheck.
To pay.
Now, with me, I pay to my company, so I have my insurance is pretty easy, cheap. I get to my company. But then other people I see, they spend $400 or $500 or more dollars a month just on, and that's a big chunk. For somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck, you have to decide, you know, it's going to be medicines, it's going to be food. And it has to be made more affordable. But then this country is about money. You know, doctors not going to get a pay cut. Everybody wants their share up there. You know, they've studied, they want to make their money. So it's going to be hard to come up with something. But, I mean, it's got to become a little more affordable for especially families.
And do you think
Big
the government has a role in helping make it more affordable?
I think they should. They have the power.
I think they had the role in making it high.
Yeah.
And even
So why not make it lower?
with the
You're the one
jobs,
that made it this way.
Okay.
with the jobs where you say your insurance is cheap, my insurance for me per se is not expensive, but when I add my family and the
Yeah.
deductibles and any type of
Okay.
your copay, if you have
Yeah.
surgery, the out like that is the expensive part of it.
No, it is.
But
I had to cancel
for-
my surgery
for
for my
other
shoulder
people-
for $200.
For other people that they don't get paid minimum wage, but they get paid $16 or $17 an hour, and their job doesn't give them insurance, the insurance is gonna charge them at least like $300 to $400 out of their pocket. How can they pay that when the rent here in Miami is like?
2,000 and
Right,
up.
Yeah.
And then the lights are going up because hurricane, we get hit by hurricanes. So FFL said, "Oh, we're gonna go up a little bit on the
Is
on
that what
lights."
they did? I need to call
Yeah,
them.
I
Yeah,
see
they
on my
go up during
bill
hurricane season.
$10
Oh, they do?
extra
Cool.
for hurricanes protection.
Yeah, they go up because they have to pay the workers to stay
I
out.
live in an
and-
apartment, and we don't. Sometimes we're not there that much because I'm at work, and from work I go to school, and we're not there so much. I pay $140 on light, and we don't use it that much.
When you do vote for a Democrat, what are the reasons you vote for a Democrat?
I mean, I'm weighing, like, I guess we look at the Republican and the Democrat, whether you're a Democrat, even if I vote Democrat, it's maybe not 100% I back everything they say, but if the majority of what they say I'm gonna go with, then that's when I'm gonna vote. That's how I would.
And what are some of the things that they say that make
I
you
mean,
want to vote?
thinking about the laws, what the Congress is doing, the taxes, the health care, like those type of things that they promise and it don't always fall through, but what else can we go on?
Okay. Anyone else? Reasons for voting Democrat?
I'm still so between them two.
Well, so did you all vote for Barack Obama at least once or twice?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Twice.
Are there any issue-based reasons for voting for Barack Obama, or was it just him as a person?
The first time was just because he was this color, but the second time was because I saw change in what he did.
And what were some of the changes that you?
I like Obamacare was really good. That's actually like the Florida Healthy Kids for grown people. I love that. I loved how he did the wet foot, dry foot. But I like that. That's I don't like how Cubans can come over and Haitians and Jamaicans and well not Jamaicans,
I
but
agree. No, I'm
Haitians
Cuban.
can't. So I love wet foot, dry foot.
I agree with you, and I'm Cuban.
See?
And that's a policy I don't think,
Yeah,
it was
like,
very
that-
unfair
that
to
was-
people.
that
Yeah, I
was
think
a-
that
It
was
shouldn't have
unfair
been
for
that
people.
way.
So when he got rid of it, it was like now it's even. Nobody can come. Nobody gets to come and stay. You know. So.
Yeah, but you have to also see those people. I'm agree with you, but you have to understand these people who come from Cuba. There is that's a prison. That's communist.
What is Haiti though? Have you been to Haiti though? You can't speak on other countries if you've never. been.
No. I've been there, but Haiti can go to Dominican and.
No,
you
they
know,
can't. Actually,
they
Dominican
can't.
treat them really bad though. So you have to really do your homework with that. So I was. a
I
fan
do
of it.
understand, but from Cuba you can't go anywhere. You can't get out. anywhere.
There's no
Even with
flights
money.
to go out. You gotta
Even
get on a
with
boat
money.
and pray that you make it there. No, that's how.
They end up
Even
dying.
if you're
Yeah.
rich in Cuba, you
No.
can't go anywhere. You have to have people or people in the government that you can blackmail them or give them money so to see if they can let you go even to Mexico, or you can be an artist or something. But I'm saying in Haiti, even if you do have money, you can do stuff. You can
But
go out of the country.
there's no way to have money in Haiti though.
But I'm saying there's rich people everywhere in the world, even in Haiti.
We just gotta keep moving here. Sorry. Who do you think of when I mention the Democratic Party?
Barack Obama.
Hillary.
What, like the best
Bernie
one
Sanders.
ever?
Just whoever.
Like,
Oh, no, it
oh.
doesn't have to be us. Just whoever pops to your head when I say Democratic Party. Who's
The vice president from Donald Trump,
Biden.
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 Biden?
Biden.
I heard a couple Obamas. Anyone else? And you said Hillary.
Yeah,
Bernie
just because
Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
He's gonna cringe every time.
I don't know.
She is
Pelosi
creepy.
for you?
Yeah.
Do you guys say the Michelle Obama was gonna run for it or?
Nah, she's not. Oh,
She should have. She'd have won.
It doesn't.
No.
Yeah, I
Condoleezza
haven't
Rice.
seen any.
I loved her.
Yeah, but Condoleezza Rice is Republican.
yeah, nah.
She is.
I know
Yeah, I know.
someone that
So-
knows her.
I
but
like
let's
some
not.
Republicans.
So
I don't-
She would run.
setting
She would
aside.
get
They
anything I love.
actually did
Hold on.
Christmas. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So setting aside all the people we know are running, let's pretend you could make your own ideal presidential candidate. What qualities are you looking for that are most important to you in a candidate, and then and what sort of issue positions are most important to you in a candidate? Who's what?
Prison reform is very important for me because people get out of jail and then you go back because there's nothing out for you. So prison
Right.
reform is really up there.
They will have to change.
Also, housing, like it should be I think it's affordable now, but I think it should target like there should be like different programs that people know about without them having to do their homework. They should know about certain stuff, and healthcare is very important.
Okay.
And then I think you shouldn't have to pay to go to college.
Okay. Paul.
Well, I think a
And you can
person
talk about
that's
qualities too. You don't
yeah,
have to do issues.
a person like that's transparent. That if he messes up or she messes up, they'll stand up for it. They'll teach us how they're learning from it. They don't hide behind it. They don't blame anyone else. Education is a big thing because we're coming to an era where robots are taking over a lot of our jobs, our workforce. So our kids need to learn some cool stuff in order to be able to, become, employed for certain things. So I think all of that's very important.
Kimberly.
I think a lot of what do they call it, green matters now. About the
Climate change?
the air, the water,
Climate
our
change?
soil. Yeah, all of that stuff is very important.
They haven't.
And it
put
has to be
a lot of
someone
attention
that's
to that,
aware
and
of all
that's
of that.
for real.
Climate. Okay. Nelson.
Yeah, climate.
Yeah, I agree with what they're saying. Like the climate change, like somebody that knows, that is in like the tech space, so that they understand how to help everybody out. Like he said, everything's going computer robots. So like someone that's able to do, like help out with that. The healthcare. Someone that's able to speak. Like how Obama was. Like somebody that's respectful. That's that you were okay with talking.
Okay. Tammy.
Yeah, a little bit of what everyone has said, and basically, I was thinking of someone that have worked in Congress, that been in politics, that know a little more running for the president, not just someone coming from a business standpoint, but maybe both.
So you think experience?
Yeah,
in government is
that
important.
is important to me.
Okay.
I look at an increase in mental health services. Rick Scott cut that in 06 by I don't know how much percent. That guy is evil, man. You know how many people, are incarcerated, but for the wrong reasons. They need help. Non-violent criminals. It's the for-profit prisons as well. There needs to be somebody that cracks down on that. Like, what's going on here? Why are we having for-profit prisons? Like, people are getting paid to have.
Because you have to look at who
non-violent
owns
criminals,
those,
but
and
rapists,
who's
murderers.
making all the money
The
from
one
all
that get
of
the tax
that.
breaks.
Michael Jordan owns a prison.
So yeah, basically, what I'm getting to, I'm sorry guys, is the president, somebody that
Prisoners are the
that
prisoners.
calls things out the way we see it, Like,
Yeah.
yo, why is this not,
Right.
Okay.
Companies
George?
that own prisons sell, they have stock.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
do. They do. It's such a,
It's all money. Money drives everything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a business. It's a
Playing with
business.
people.
That's nuts.
They make them
No,
work for
one of the main big things I would like to see is somebody who really talks and defends the veterans. I served in the Army. I was the first of my family, then my brother. We have a bunch of military people in our family. But we got lucky enough, we never had to serve in the war. So thank God for that. But here, everybody talks and promises things. To me, I think vets, especially when you served and did actual combat, you should have a lot of rights to a lot of things and not wait and drown on the paperwork to get treatment. Their family should be taken care of. You got the politicians who have free health care. They don't pay for health care for nothing. They have all these different, things that go to them. But then a soldier that goes there, gives his life, comes back. They might not see the damage right away, but later on it comes out to them and there's no help for them. Everybody promises, oh no, the VA's hospitals are some of the worst places for them.
It is very.
And until you pump really a lot of money into it and not just talk about it and give the veterans help that they need. They don't have to beg for it. They automatically here. You got a place to live, you got income, you got everything if you serve, especially in a war situation. I was, like I said, I did it for 6 years. Lucky to God, I didn't serve in the war. I did it back in 82 to 86, and then 2 years reserve. My brothers after that joined. I got nephews right now currently serving. And I always see is too many sad stories about vets. And that should be something that has to stop, and they should be supported above other things here that come up.
Wendy?
Well, two things. I agree with what everyone said, but like women rights, I think no one should dictate what a woman does with her body. And another thing that I'm strongly concerned about are my kids going to school and their safety. So something that's going to control that a lot better.
Okay. And Christine?
I agree with everyone, and also, like Paul said, someone who's transparent, who's gonna walk the walk, talk the talk. Somebody educated. Just I want change and fairness, and with Trump, that's got in. There's just so much hate and so much violence, more crime than we've ever before. To me, when Obama was in presidency, it wasn't. We weren't having all our blacks, African Americans, killed, with the police and just everything.
shootings.
There's so much to mention.
Renee?
I agree with everyone here. I agree with you with schools, and I think with school is like more internet than the kids are looking at. Like there's YouTube videos about cults, and kids look at that and they go into that and they join that, and then these schools just brainwash them and tell them what to do, and that's one thing that we have to attack, and I want someone that talks right, is a business, but also has politics, and he can, get some work done, like get stuff done and help out all the countries so we can gain the trust again. Like Donald Trump just took out the army from Syria, and I don't think why, when we kind of help out ISIS to build, we trained them, we did everything, and then they turned against us, That's a problem that we created in that country, something that we should help them out. And we need someone also to be on top of the army, on top of the veterans. I have a friend that just came out from the Marines, and he had trouble getting to the police. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, if you were in the Marines and you went through all the training, I don't see a problem why you can't be a police. There's also, you have to go to mental health, you have to go to all of that, but you are Marines, you prepare for all of that. You prepare for combat, you prepare how to treat people. Just give them an actual training, how the police should be, and stuff like that. My friend just got denied. They don't give him a reason why.
Canadra?
I went already.
Oh, you went already. Sorry. Okay. So, how much do you think it matters if the Democratic candidate is a democratic socialist?
How much would it matter?
Yeah.
Big time.
Big time.
Socialist? The word, man.
No.
So no.
I mean, we came from a part that was socialist, and it actually backfired us like big time. There was like control on everything. I'm telling you, control even on food. And until now, you can see that 50 years later or 60 years later, you can see that there's not even chicken on Cuba to eat.
Does anyone not have a problem with the Democratic candidate being a democratic socialist?
Oh, no.
You don't have a problem?
You guys should be careful with that. Like, I'm saying.
How much do you think it matters if the Democratic candidate is a woman?
I don't think
It
it
doesn't
matters
matter.
to me. I want them to be a person with character, with ethics and morals, and like I said, all the things that we're asking for, experience. That's what matters.
How much do you think it matters if the Democratic candidate is gay?
Oh,
I don't think it.
I actually don't think that matters.
I don't think that matters.
Okay.
A woman and
I don't think anything of that matters because we have the same brain. Well, we don't have the same brain, but we have a brain.
we do have the same brain. We have different sexual preferences.
Yeah, we have the same brain.
Yeah, but
I don't think we should just normalize that for kids, though.
Yeah.
I don't think that matters. I think their sexual life should be their business.
As long as that's not the entire agenda, I'm cool.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's like a gay agenda.
worry about.
Today
Keep
was
your
telling me-
personal thing. your
To yourself.
personal
Will they
life to
do that?
yourself,
There you
but
go.
when you
Trump
run a
has it.
country, you
It has
also have to
become-
think
they're trying
about
put it in the schools, and
everyone.
That's a no-no.
No, I think
Okay.
that
My
needs to go-
assistant
that's
today
another
told
law
me
that
about
needs
a
to
new
be
thing
changed.
Yeah,
called binary.
Sorry, one at a time. One at a time.
that too.
Yeah, there's a
I
new
don't
thing called
identify
binary, and
with-
it's just too many new things that are added to the.
Non-binary.
That I'm just getting confused.
gotta
There's
call
just too
them
many
they.
things.
Yeah, it's getting
remember?
kind of.
I don't know
Yeah,
what binary
they-
is.
No, it's
It's if you don't identify as
It's
something,
both.
yeah.
Don't let them
Both.
know that's
It
out there.
always is taking the woman off of the
identify as
packaging to adhere to transgender.
Okay. So, all right, I'm going to say, now this will be an around the room. I'm going to say the names of the leading Democratic candidates for president, and you tell me the first word that pops into your mind when I say the person's name. All right, I'll start this because I started here last time. Joe Biden.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. What am I supposed to?
First word that comes to your mind. Hers was okay, but you can say description, anything.
Oh.
Joe Biden?
Yeah, what do you think of when you
Oh,
think of
shit,
Joe Biden?
Son.
Son? Oh,
Yeah.
son, okay.
Ukraine.
Experience.
Experience.
Democratic.
Too liberal.
Too liberal.
Experience.
Experience.
Okay.
Okay.
Well dressed.
Obama.
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 Well dressed.
Elizabeth Warren.
No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
I don't even know who she is.
Don't know.
Don't know her.
No.
Does anyone have an opinion on Elizabeth?
I know her. Smart.
Smart.
I don't know.
Not sure. Don't know her. Okay. Bernie Sanders.
He's too hot. He's too.
Okay, I don't know. I'm trying to pick a word.
Oh,
That,
that's okay. You know, I'll start this way. Bernie Sanders.
Free college.
Free college.
Old.
Old.
Crazy hair.
Too old.
Dreamy.
La La Land.
Not at all.
Not at all.
He wants to give too many things away free. Makes too
Flamboyant. Like too risky.
Okay.
Everything
I
he's
was
doing.
the college and old is what popped in my mind.
Bernie
He gonna
Sanders.
die.
Has anyone, I'll just ask if anyone has anyone heard of Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah. Is
No.
he the mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, Mayor Pete.
Kamala Harris?
Yes.
No.
What do you,
That's that land
opinion on
lady.
Kamala Harris?
No, because I know who she is. I haven't done too much
Yeah, I haven't
reading
done
on
my
her.
Yeah,
She's on
I
it.
have to like get.
It's too many.
Yeah.
And that's the
It's
scary
really
part. It's so
too
many,
many.
and that if they all was to make it and then we vote, you vote, it's 18, I think. So you vote for two, you vote for two, and it's, the votes are spread out, and that's going to make it hard.
Got it. So turning to the media, where do you get most of your information about the news and politics? You're a Twitter person. Okay. Anyone else?
No, Twitter.
CNN and Facebook.
CNN and Facebook for you.
Books.
Social media.
Books.
Books.
But what about information like news?
Oh, news. I mean, I like to check out both of them. I mean, Fox, CNN, because they're both,
So
And
you
then
watch
I want to
both.
make my own opinion, because they're all biased. They're showing you what they want. Hey, guys, Donald
Right.
Trump's bad. Hey, Donald Trump's great. No, I want, what is he doing? What is he not doing? That's what I want.
Where'd you
Same
go?
thing.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Fox, CNN?
I don't even watch TV anymore because I'm so disappointed with Trump being president. So I refuse to.
Do you keep up with the
Okay.
news in other ways?
I only see it on Instagram if I'm scrolling through and somebody has a
And
funny
And then you get to
meme,
look
but
it
that's
up on your own.
Okay. Christine?
Any news channel I can find.
Do you do cable news or local news?
Cable and local.
Cable
both.
and local.
I would say internet and also podcasts, because I don't have time to be watching the news because I have a lot of stuff to do school-wise.
And your Twitter. And
Yeah,
Paul,
I mean, PBS, NPR.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
That's a good station.
Instagram, like she said.
Instagram?
Then I look up a lot of stuff on my
Yeah,
own.
once you
I
see it,
read
you
a lot of
can
stuff.
Just report
Like I
the
had to read
Yes.
about
They
that
don't
thing
have
you
a
wanted
thing,
us to
they just
sign.
report it. It's awesome.
Me
It's
too.
awesome.
What? Oh, go ahead,
I
Christine.
had Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders mixed up, by the way, when I gave my answer.
Oh, okay. So who did you?
It happened.
Oh, you said too liberal. Then too liberal is for Bernie Sanders for you.
Right.
And Joe Biden,
Yeah,
did you
true.
want to have a
Just scary to me.
scary to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's just scary to me.
What frustrates you most about the media?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
What frustrates you most about the media?
The lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lies.
There's no
They
truth.
either, like he said, they either love Donald Trump or they hate him. There's never a biased opinion.
Yeah.
Like, there's never just, this is the facts and that's it. It's just more so, oh, we can't stand him, this is what he's doing. And they spin it in a negative way or they spin it in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's just never
Yeah,
honest.
It
however
goes
they
back
want
on
to
what
see it.
what you pointed out. Like way back, you used to have people who reported the news or had
Real news.
yeah, like 60 Minutes used to be good because they were, it seemed to be unbiased and they gave you a lot of information. And you just don't have
You don't have that
reporters
anymore.
that give you information, that do any type of investigative anything. It's just the same story over and every
I feel
15
like
And
minutes,
then you have
over
different
and
people
over.
that they
And
give
it's not
a
news.
personal.
I feel like they
Like,
try to scare
intertwine it.
the civilians more. They put the horror stories there. Like right now we're watching the news
The Southland
About
Mall.
the shooting.
and
Yeah.
a shootout, like on Charlotte Mall, somebody shoots someone.
But that's
Right, it actually
newsworthy.
sounds like it was an altercation
It's-
inside the
it's
shoe store.
newsworthy,
They
though.
shot the guy who
Yeah.
got
Because
shot.
if
but
you
they,
stay in
they
that
just
area,
repeat that all the time.
They don't want you to go there. I would prefer to see that
they'll
on the
go
news
you-
about a shooting than, I'm sorry for the animal lovers, a dog and a cat in a tree that they put on the news. That's not
I
newsworthy
understand
to
that,
me.
but don't
But
make-
if it's a shooting, I would want to know, because therefore, if
But
I
go
stay
to
in
the-
that area, I don't want to drive that way if the street's blocked off and they haven't caught the suspects that's doing the shooting. So
But-
to me, that is newsworthy.
But they
it's
show
worthy.
you
It's
the
true, but what
ambulance
I'm
going
saying
to the
is-
hospital.
I
They don't
agree
go in the
with that.
hospital
Yeah.
and
No,
interview
no, no.
anyone.
But they were
and
telling us
outside
that
for
Isolated.
hours.
It wasn't
Until
like
men were
saying-
still on the
mass-
run.
One person at a time.
I feel like they're
I'm
just
sorry.
trying to say like because like I think news they're against guns, and that's a law that Democrats they want to take out. Finally, they definitely want to take out the
There's another way to
law of
control gun
guns,
violence, but
and I
it's
don't
just-
want that to go away, because in other countries when you take out guns from the law from to be you can have guns and with a license and everything, and that's the government can go and take anything from you because you don't have a self to defend yourself.
It don't
Like, you
matter.
know.
Martial law.
They're never going to take all the guns off the street, no matter what law.
If
they
you
do.
have
Yeah,
a gun to
but
defend yourself,
also-
depending on who you are and where you stay, if a crime is committed, you're going to probably be charged anyway.
I think they're making it tighter and tighter.
Yeah,
tighter
they
to
that's
get,
what I'm
like, oh,
saying. They
school
put this
shootings,
this
and that.
news like, oh, the guns and this guy was shot. Go to the details. Why
me
this
ask,
guy
are
was
there-
shot? Go try to like she was saying. There was no investigation there. You don't come out with a story. You just go. There was a shooting, and that's it. Why the guy? Because he only shot one person.
It was
So
an isolated event.
that's personal.
Are there news sources that you
No,
all
it's never one
trust?
person.
What are the news
Like
sources?
Three
that you
people
Like when he
ran.
was NPR in the morning.
NPR.
NPR is a
Yeah,
good
NPR,
station.
PBS is great.
PBS?
too.
Yeah.
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 BBC Radio. I don't
Yeah,
know. they
BBC
give
Radio.
good-
Oh, I forgot about
I mean,
the
I
radio
wake up in the
station.
morning, I have an Alexa, I say play the news, I programmed it, I have NPR, BBC, and for 20 minutes I'm there, whatever, just getting ready, and I hear that. And it's great news. It's fantastic. I mean, they just tell you it. That's it, what's going
And you
on.
think it's
What's
more
this?
unbiased and you trust it more?
You put on Fox, they're celebrities.
Exactly.
That's what they
Everything's
are.
becoming
Everyone's
more-
a
it's
celebrity.
comical now.
That's
It's
it.
just-
So as you're all deciding as we get closer to the election who to vote for, how will you make that decision? What information sources will you turn to? Will you look for the news? How do you make your decision at the end?
Research.
Well,
Research.
yeah, I think what he said, look where the money came from for the candidates. I think
The
that's a
money.
good way to look
That
at
is,
it.
that
Would anyone go to an event where a candidate was in your area? Would you go to a political event?
They have them in my area.
You would go to one?
Yeah.
Anyone else would go to one?
I mean, with everything that's going on, I'll be a little bit
Fickle, I wouldn't go.
like you never know what can happen in one of those things. So I don't want to put myself in danger.
Would you answer the door if an organizer or volunteer came?
That's
to-
different, no.
No.
Because they come around
Like
too much.
Jehovah's
They cover.
Witnesses, no sir.
What about if they called? Would they?
No.
Hang up,
They call me every day.
Yep.
block.
Scam likely.
How much do you notice? How much do you notice political ads when you're online or on your phone?
1 second.
Do you pay much attention?
Notice the commercials on
Only-
TV when
only
they're
when-
talking when they trash another person.
Yeah.
Those are
And
always.
what do you think of
I think
what do you think
they're-
of political ads on television?
I like them.
Overkill.
You like them? You think they're over?
Overkill sometimes.
I think they're dangerous because they don't tell you the whole truth. They'll cut snippets of what she might have said. You know, the sun is blue, but she might have been referring to something else.
Yeah.
Then they'll say, "Oh, look, Kimberly thinks the sun is blue. Why are you going to vote for her for?" So it's hard to believe really any of
Right.
it because they only show you what the part they want you to know.
Exactly.
The other part, and then I don't understand if it's the sun is out, the sun is out. Why are there two different opinions whether the sun is out? Should be only one opinion. The sun is out. There should be no way of looking at it. I'm not looking at it this way. He's looking at it that way. The sun is out.
How much does it matter what your friends and family and colleagues are thinking about
My
politics?
family,
Doesn't matter at
we're all
all.
mixed in
Doesn't
there.
matter. But
Not
do you talk to them
anymore.
when you make
Oh,
a
yeah, we
decision?
do.
Oh,
My
you-
mother is very into it, so I'll just go to her and say, "Mommy, who should I vote for?" Yeah, that's
Good.
what
Does,
I
any,
do.
does anyone else have a situation like that where they talk to people about?
Can't
who
even
they-
trust my
Yeah,
family
my-
now.
Can't even
They
trust your
think
family? Okay.
They think
My
of,
mom.
they believe other things.
Your mom.
Yeah,
We're divided. My
discuss
family.
it
We
Right,
have
we,
a
do,
family.
we talk,
We're
but
divided.
it always ends in an argument because somebody just doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's always, and it's not that they don't know what they're talking about. It's that
see it
they
differently
see
than I
one
do.
Yeah,
point
they
that they're,
see it
and then
different.
they only go to that source, right? But if you're to at least mix that source and this source, you might get an overall of what's really going on.
Yeah.
But if you only get your news from one side,
That's not good.
it's not
Yeah.
good. It's very bad.
Like,
I won't
everyone
get. I don't want to
vote
hear
for
all the
Hillary
Democrats
just
have
for
to say.
the
I want to see what the
housing,
Republicans have to say.
homestead housing.
You know?
And you want to see where what they're saying. Do some research and
it's
see what they were doing before they got to that place too.
Okay, so last question, and then I'll let you all go. You've been very gracious with your time.
We didn't even remember
If
what it was.
so, let's take some thoughts. So people can jump in whenever you want. If the Democratic candidate for president was here right now, what advice would you give that person in the campaign they're about to run against Donald Trump?
Don't lie
Again.
because they're gonna
Think
come
before
out.
you talk. Against Donald
Think
Trump.
before you talk.
Yeah,
Don't
just
lie.
think of some good comebacks because he's
some
gonna tell you
comebacks.
something.
It's gonna
Don't
happen.
play into his game.
Yeah.
of-
Don't
of
play.
being
Yeah,
rude.
don't
play to
worry
his
about
game.
him. Just as long as you're speaking your agenda, then what he says and what he does shouldn't even matter.
Don't forward his tactics of calling each other names or whatever. Just
Yeah, that's too
stay
juvenile for me.
adult.
Don't stoop to his
Yeah.
level.
Interesting.
Just present the facts. That's it. That's all I want. And
able-
also, yeah, that's
Be able
pretty
to
much-
back up what
And
you're
don't try to
saying.
be a realist. Don't try to relate to me because it just seems fake.
Don't try to relate.
You can't relate to everybody.
Kimberly,
Pay
what do you
attention to
think?
climate control.
I agree with everything they say.
I would tell them to watch some like old Obama debates, some Bill Clinton, like look at the good Democratic presidents we had, and I'll tell them they have it because I don't see how Donald Trump could get it over anyone this time.
Yeah.
I really
He
don't.
won't. I'm sure enough Hispanics, African Americans,
Any,
Scary
some
enough.
they have went through. I hope they went through enough to get rid of him.
Do you think people
Harry.
that you all know who may have not voted last time or haven't been interested in politics are more likely to vote in 2020?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone has that sense.
Well, that's what happened with the last midterm elections. I think they had a biggest
Right.
turnout than they really expected. It
So
made a
say
big
Andrew
difference.
Gillum didn't
so-
get it, but okay. Not gonna go there.
Now they see what happens when they don't vote.
We're not gonna go there.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good job, everyone.
Thanks, John.
Great conversation.